All right, here we go. For the next two lessons here, we're going to be showing how triangles can be proven congruent to each other. So we're only dealing with triangles here, not with other types of shapes, just triangles. And we're going to have kind of an alphabet soup of letters coming at you, so you have to understand what all the letters mean. So our first one is side angle side. If two sides and the included angle of one triangle are congruent to two sides and the included angle of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent, and we don't have to prove every single side and every single angle are congruent to each other. All we need to know are two sides and the included angle. What do I mean by included? That the angle is in between the two sides that we know. Not this angle over here, not this angle over here. Okay? So, side angle side is a way to prove triangles congruent. Now, once you prove triangles congruent, then you can say CPCTC, which is corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So, let's say we know that this triangle is congruent to this triangle by side angle side. So let's say this side we already knew was congruent to this side, and this side we knew was congruent to this side, and this angle is congruent to this angle. Once we prove that those two triangles are congruent, then I can say, well, angle C is congruent to angle Z, angle A is congruent to angle X, and side AC is congruent to side XZ, because once the triangles are congruent, then I can say all the sides and all the angles are congruent. Okay. So, Allie cuts two triangles from a rectangular piece of metal along a dashed line to make earrings. How can Allie show the earrings are the same size and same shape? Well, they're triangles, right? So if we can say that the triangles are congruent, then they're the same size and same shape. Now, what do we know about rectangles? All four angles are what? Besides the same. What type of the same are they? They're all right angles. They're all right angles. So you know angle A and angle C are congruent because they're right angles. They're the same. They're right angles. What do we know about opposite sides of a rectangle? BC and AD. If it's a rectangle, the opposite sides must be parallel and congruent. So BC must be equal to AD, and AB must be congruent to CD. And all of a sudden, what do I see? I have two sides and the included angle. I have side, angle, side. And once I have side, angle, side, then they're congruent. Besides side, angle, side, there's also side, side, side. If all three sides of one triangle are congruent to all three sides of another triangle, then the triangles are congruent. We don't need to know anything about any of the angles. Okay? If three sides are congruent to three sides, then the triangles are congruent. Then angle A is congruent to angle D. Angle B is congruent to angle E. And angle C is congruent to angle F. Okay? By CPCTC. Okay. So if the three sides are congruent here, how big is angle X going to be? 92 degrees. That's going to be 92 degrees, because if the sides are congruent, then the triangles are congruent. If the triangles are congruent, the corresponding angles are congruent, and these are corresponding angles. Okay. What type are they congruent, these two? Yeah, why? Because they're side, angle, side, or side, side, side? Side, side, side. What about this one? That's side, angle, side. What about this one? No, the C one you can't use. Okay, see, the C one, CPCTC, you can only use after you prove them congruent. We're trying to figure out if these are even congruent. Are they congruent? Because I know a side and an angle. Okay? And if you ever try to use side angle, then it makes an angle side out of you. So don't do that. Okay? Suter didn't even catch that because he's too onto his computer. So he's being an angle side in this class right now, isn't he? And he's not even getting that joke because he hasn't been paying attention to a word we've been saying. Okay? So don't be an angle side. Side angle doesn't work. Okay? What about this one? This one is two sides in the included angle. It's side angle side. So out of these 4 sets, 3 of them work. 1 of them didn't. Okay? How are these triangles? Are these triangles congruent? Yep, they are. Side angle side. Okay. So in review, we have side angle side, 2 sides, and the angle in between, or side. Okay? Now, you might have a proof, and in the proof, you might have to use that CPCTC, but that's only after the step after you do something like this, okay? Of proving certain things congruent. All right, I'm going to put this assignment out there. So I'm going to